I am Professor Dr. Hasan Amca from Eastern Mediterranean University Electrical Engineering Department. Today I was asked to compile this podcast on the myth and conspiracies about the 5G cellular communications systems and the relationship with coronaviruses. As you all remember, on 22nd January 2020, a deceptive news was spread by a Belgian practitioner, Dr. Chris van Kerkhoven, after an interview by Belgian newspaper Lateste News. The headline article was "5G is life-threatening and no one knows about it," published in a regional version of the newspaper in a place near Antwerp in Belgium. The fake news erroneously claimed that the symptoms of exposure to 5G are very much like the symptoms of coronaviruses. Indeed, there is no evidence. The article was deleted from the newspaper website shortly after its publication, since the claim in the article was scientifically baseless. However, the news started a conspiracy theory storm that was spread very quickly on the internet and broken out into the real world, resulting in fires and threats. The Belgian doctor claimed that 5G was dangerous and might be linked to coronavirus. An irresponsible newspaper published a controversial article with no evidence. The journalist pointed out that since 2019, a number of 5G cell towers had been built around Wuhan. Could the two things be related? Kerkhoven admitted shortly that he didn't do a fact check before piling the article, but yet he claimed that it might be linked with the current coronavirus pandemic. This controversial news lit the fire with the facilitation of the newspaper company, of course. The statement was picked up by anti-5G campaigners in Dutch-speaking world and spread in social media pages, started linking the article and quoting from the article. Within days, the conspiracy theory had spread to dozens of social media pages. So the editor of the newspaper later admitted that because the quotes were unfounded, we withdrew the article within a few hours. Some weeks later, the fake news broke out, boosted by engagement algorithms that were smart enough to spot a viral trend, irrespective of how senseless it was. The social media experts knows how fast the news can spread on media, especially when they are boosted with engagement algorithms. The conspiracy theory has been pushed by celebrities up to millions of followers, including the boxer Amir Khan, singer Anne-Marie, actor Woody Harrelson, and many more. And the TV personality Amanda Holden also shared the post, but later she accidentally tweeted the anti-5G petition link on a particular web page, which was later deleted. But it was too late, since her petition already had more than 100,000 signatures. In recent days, also, many 5G base station towers across China, UK, and other countries have been set on fire. Videos of these attacks have gone viral on social media, agitating anti-5G fever. At the government's daily coronavirus press briefing on April 5 in Belgium, the Belgian cabinet officer minister Michael Gove describes the 5G conspiracy theory as dangerous nonsense, while the national medical director of the National Health Services in Belgium, Prof. Stefan Povis, said it was the worst kind of fake news. So there are a number of myths, also speculative news on social and traditional media regarding the 5G cellular communication systems and its relationship to the coronavirus. Some of these myths claim that the 5G cellular communication system transmits thousands of times higher powers than 2G, 3G, and 4G. Indeed, this is certainly wrong. Because of the reduced distances and advanced antennas used in 5G systems, 5G transmits at much lower power levels than 2G, 3G, and 4G. Some claim also that the 5G signal can cause cancer due to the millimeter wave frequencies used. The frequencies used for 5G in Spain, for example, are 700 megahertz, 2.6 gigahertz, 3.6, and 3.8 gigahertz. And the World Health Organization and International Commission for Non-Ionizing Radiation Protection, they claim that frequencies up to 300 gigahertz are safe. They don't cause cancer. These frequencies are non-ionizing frequencies because they are much lower than the ionizing frequency range, beginning at petahertz. The ionizing frequency range starts at 1 million gigahertz, whereas the frequencies used is only 3.6 gigahertz, 3.8 gigahertz, the maximum in Spain particularly. These frequencies are non-ionizing, therefore they don't induce cancer. Because they are non-ionizing, they cannot break the chemical bonds and hence cannot create ions. Therefore, they do not cause atomic or molecular changes in the living tissue, which are the kinds of cancer, and therefore they cannot create or induce cancer. The conspiracy theory about the hazards of electromagnetic waves that Kerckhoven was advocating isn't new. In coronaviruses, these concerns found a new but still an unverified ground. It has been boiling quietly for decades in unfounded concerns about high voltage power lines in 1980s, for example, and mobile phones in 1990s. However, we need to know that there are well-established, highly reliable authorities around the world who are continuously monitoring these systems, such as World Health Organization, ICNIRP, IARC, International Agency for Research on Cancer, and International Telecommunications Union. These authorities are continuously monitoring and creating limitations and directives on the use of ICT equipment for protecting human health. The local ICT and telecommunications authorities are following the guidelines published by these authorities and dictating these on the service providers. Some of these organizations are, for example, in England, Ofcom is responsible to monitor the service providers, so their powers of electromagnetic rays transmitted will be within the range of the World Health Organization and its subcommittees. In Turkey, BTK, ICT Regulatory Board, is responsible. Similarly, in Cyprus, BTHK is the ICT Regulatory Board. So the World Health Organization is the ultimate authority. Whenever you need to know a scientific evidence for a particular interaction regarding health, we have to look at the World Health Organization webpage. Because the subject has gone vigorously spread on the media, especially social media, World Health Organization published a note on the subject explaining why COVID-19 has nothing to do with the 5G. The note simply explains that viruses cannot travel on radio waves or mobile networks. That's clear. COVID-19 is spreading in many countries that do not have 5G mobile networks. The countries with 5G mobile networks widespread are, for example, Germany, UK, US, China, South Korea. And Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, and Switzerland are still working on deploying 5G. COVID-19 is spread through respiratory droplets when an infected person coughs, sneezes, or speaks. So people can also be infected by touching a contaminated surface and then their eyes, nose, or mouth. So similarly, International Telecommunications Union also published a report to verify that there is no scientific basis between 5G and COVID-19 interaction. The coronavirus disease is a threat to humanity and the first pandemic in human history where information and communication technologies and the social media are being used on a massive scale to help cope with the disease. These technologies are also used by illicit people at the same time to spread fear and confusion. So as claims linking 5G technology and the spread of COVID-19 are mounting, ITU makes it clear that such claims have no scientific basis whatsoever. And also International Telecommunications Union Secretary General Ho-Lin Zhou says, now more than ever, information technology is vital to our economy, health, and safety. They published a recommendation, ITU-TK52, which presents general guidelines calculating methods and installation procedures for telecom equipment based on safety limits provided by ICN-IRP. Hence, the most prestigious authorities in the world suggest that there is no connection between COVID-19 and 5G technologies. Similarly, ICN-IRP also published a report. Actually, ICN-IRP provides guidelines for the limiting power levels of electromagnetic transmissions to avoid health hazards from RF electromotive force, exposure emitted by mobile phones. The temperature rise in the body is restricted. So this can be achieved by limiting the whole body absorption and head absorption of the high frequency energy expressed in terms of specific absorption rate, SAR. So ICN-IRP follows closely the RF EMF related scientific research, and any new outcomes related to health will inform the evolution of the guidelines. So the guidelines are continually updated. These guidelines are updated in 2020 to cover the 5G cellular communications as well, and the mobile service providers are bound to follow these guidelines. So people might think, okay, ICN-IRP is not aware of the relationship. No, they know all about the technologies used in 5G, and they are concerned about the health hazards for human being. So they updated these guidelines in 2020 so that it will cover all the new and latest technologies. Also, there is another organization, International Agency on Research on Cancer, IARC. So they also produce some guidelines. The IARC guidelines is part of the World Health Organization, and also it coordinates and conducts both epidemiological and laboratory research into the causes of human cancer. And they also track mobile phone and base station usage and their link to cancer, if there is. It provides safety limits and forces mobile operators and vendors to follow. So, to sum up, there are international authorities who are serious about the implication of information and communication technologies and the electromagnetic waves generated by these communication devices on our health. So these authorities are there to protect the human health. If there is anything to create a danger about human health, they would immediately either stop the operation of such systems, or they would somehow put limitations on the output power levels or frequencies or other parameters used in these systems. So we should be happy that we are living in a world where our health is monitored and continually protected by these authorities. Therefore, we shouldn't believe in the fake news or conspiracy theories or myths published for advertising purposes on the internet. We should be careful about what we read and what kind of information we receive from the internet, as anyone can freely publish anything on the internet without checking up the truth or correctness of this information. Thank you very much for listening to me, and greetings from Eastern Mediterranean University to all audience.